What's going on, everybody? Just want to let you know our sponsors going forward for our future episodes. We are sponsored by Red Clover Coffee. So if you go to redclovercoffee.com and type in code IWP at checkout, you'll save 10% site wide. Also, we are sponsored by Performance Supplements. So if you go over to performancesup with 2ps.com and type in code IWP at checkout, you'll save 15% site wide. And our third sponsor is we are sponsored by Crunch Fitness up here in Northern California. Thank you guys. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Intel Within Podcast. This is going to be episode 13 with Rene Alvarado here. He is a 35 Fox in the Army. So we're just going to get to learn about him, his story, why he got into the military, what Rene was doing when he was younger, and then what he's doing now and what the future holds for him. So I appreciate you coming on, man. This is really quick. This is kind of like a 48-hour notice type of deal. So try to get you before you have to leave and go do what you got to do. So if you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself and just kind of branch off of that and tell us what you do.
So Rene Alvarado, um, the 35 Fox Intel analyst. Currently, I work for Department of Public Safety at the Highway Patrol. So I'm a state trooper. We're like glorified speed guys. We'll like you over for speeding. But yeah, man. And then I'm married. I have two little beautiful girls. They're my world. They're the reason why I enlisted in the first place and why I'm in the Highway Patrol. A lot of it has to do with my family and putting them first. So yeah, man. And I like to lift. I think when we first met, funny story. Do you remember how we first met or
Yep,
no?
yep, I'm waiting for it.
Dude, but I don't know if you've ever, it was Sergeant Sweeney. He was doing the whole PT fun.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, dude, we're just gonna play like soccer and it's gonna be fun. And like most 35 Foxes, I mean, I don't know if the viewers know, they're not like your athletic type. So I was thinking I was gonna go into a game that was just it's just the easy going, dude. And then we show up, Franco, you, and I'm like, dude, we're bringing the A team. It got very competitive really quick, man. And I'm just like, what? I was like,
I remember that, man. That was pretty funny. I think we were playing, we ended up doing soccer and then we did football right after that. And that was a lot of
yeah,
fun. That was a lot of fun.
it was fun. It was, bro. But I just remember him saying like, dude, it's gonna be like, we're just like, you're just moving around. We're like, we're gonna be talking, playing a little bit, dude. It
Yeah.
got very competitive quickly, man. And I'm just like, dude, who is this guy, dude? Burke freaking stocky, dude. I was like, bro. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
like, next time, let me. Did you bring your cleats too, man?
Um, Dude, to be honest with you, I don't think I was that into it. I think I had like a pair of like Nike Metcons or something like that.
Dude, somebody brought their cleats, man, and I was
Oh
just
yeah, I
like,
didn't. I don't think I did. I don't think I went all out like that. So she just invited me. She was like, "Hey, do you want to come participate?" I'm like, "I love sports." I was like, "Heck yeah!" And then I show up, and then everybody had like the same thing. And I remember you. I think you said you saw me. You're like coming down the hill, like, "Holy shit, who's this guy?"
dude, I know. I was like, dude, are we gonna play rugby, dude? What are we doing here, bro?
That is too
Because I
funny,
mean,
man.
you see like the whole unit. They're more of a computer
Hmm.
people. They're
Yeah,
just like Dungeons and Dragons. They'll go and play what's
Dungeons and
called like
Dragons.
make believe. I'm not lying, man. So I was
Oh
just caught off
really? Oh
guard,
shoot. Okay, that's funny.
dude. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
Nah, it's. I mean, it could be. I mean, that's majority of that Intel stuff. So, but yeah, that was a good time, man. I enjoyed that for sure.
so
And then
yeah,
let's.
man.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the majority. So the last since I've enlisted, I've been on like little operations. So
Hmm.
it was COVID. We went to South Korea. Then I was at the border for the longest time. So usually I've been doing that, and then when I can, and the National Guard does not like ask me to go somewhere or be somewhere,
Hmm.
I try to improve in the civilian side and try to have career advancement there. So I did like I was a jailer, and then for Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, and then since I was at the border working with DPS side and side, it was a great gateway, and I mean, luckily I applied, and they were like, dude, you fit the tangibles that we're looking for. So
How was the Korea thing?
Yeah,
South
man.
Korea.
We did an annual training, dude. So it was like we got called to COVID, and then after COVID, there was like a pause. They didn't know if, like at the time, President Trump was going to continue the orders, which he ended
Mm,
up doing. He ended up continuing it, or he was just gonna like it was gonna move into like Title 32, because I think at the time we were at Title 10, so there was like a little pause, and our unit had like I guess they got invited or our captain pulled some strings to basically get us to go and do our AT training in South Korea. So that was pretty cool in the midst of COVID. So it was pretty interesting, and yeah, uh, that was like the one time where I was able to actually do intel work and
oh,
see
okay.
like other analysts really like put in good work. Like you talk about like 35 Foxes, like just knowing capabilities of their enemy. Like, dude, these guys were. I learned so much. I was a sponge. When we went there, it was just ideally they're saying that we're helping them, right? But
Mm,
we're basically going and watching like big army do their thing, where they're what's called like they're warfighter.
hmm.
Um, but dude, big difference with myself was like, dude, if I'm gonna be away from my family, I like it's gonna be for career progression, or it's not gonna be a waste of time. I'm not gonna go for vacation, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
like
big thing.
100%.
If I'm gonna be away from them, I'm gonna make it count. Same thing with COVID. I was trying to get the best out of it. You know what I mean. And I was like, if I'm gonna be away from them and not see them as much, like definitely. Same thing with border. To set us up. You know what I mean. So yeah, that was really legit. We were there for 30 days. The actual thing was like 2 weeks. So that was a neat experience. We were with Eighth Army, and yeah, man, those 35 Foxes, man, like they know their stuff, and it was really cool.
Dude, I saw some of the stuff that obviously I'm not going to be stupid and say anything that's going to be,
Mm.
against the military, but I was watching like some of the stuff that she does and like the things that you guys have to do as far as like intel work, and there are certain I mean, I don't know if it's I think I could say it. I mean, like certain things. So say like you guys see like infantry units, there's a certain marker for infantry units, and then there's a certain
Right.
marker for like tanks, and then there's a certain marker for infantry units on top of tanks or
All
battalions.
right.
And I'm like, damn, how do you remember all this stuff? Because it was just on a piece of
Yeah.
paper, and I must have seen 6 or 7 different like drawings and symbols
Yeah.
and what marks a certain special unit and how you guys delegate that on the battlefield. It's crazy. And she told me, I don't know where she was at, but it's essentially like, I don't know if like a movie or like a video game is like the best comparison, but she said that where she was at one time was essentially kind of like in this sphere, like this dome. And she said there's just computer screens everywhere. And she said it was just so
Yeah.
surreal to see everything like that. And I had a buddy, not gonna name him, and no, you're not gonna get it out of me. Not you, people, other people. And he was stationed in Europe very recently, and he actually got to see like real time of um of some enemies, let's put it that way. And it was insane, bro, what like he was kind of like describing, and what he told me, what was gonna happen happened to the T an hour after he told me. So that's why I was like, dang man, like you're legit in there. And the thing is his job's not even intel, has nothing to do with it. He was just able to be there and experience it. And like what he
It's
told me
awesome.
was pretty crazy. I'll tell you offline. It was
Yeah.
really cool. And he was able to do that for I think 3 or 4 months. Is really quick. I think he was just kind of like relieving other people, and then other people were trying to come out to relieve them. But man, that intel stuff is crazy, man. It's very, very interesting, and I am like both of us in that sense, looking at trying to, well, myself mainly trying to look at getting a job in what is it, international relations and like foreign affairs. So she's trying to stick with her intel stuff, and she's got she'll be out there for a while. You know where she's at, so she'll be out there for a
Yeah.
hot minute, and just having the connects, and like it's all about who you know. There's a couple places where she's trying to get a job at overseas, and then maybe somewhere in the States, hopefully outside of California, because it's just too wild here, bro. I can't get down with the gun laws. I can't get down with the prices. Granted, everything's, like
Yeah.
we have a very, 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 very good deal on this home. And then like
Right.
not really having to pay taxes out here because the military is nice. But dude, it's just every day there's something stupid that is getting
Yeah.
passed in California, doesn't make sense, and it's just like they just passed one recently. I think it was a couple months ago, man. To believe it or not, like illegals can come into the state and apply to be a first responder, like a police officer, and like they
Oh,
can.
they took the civilian, or you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be
Yeah,
a.
bro, what is
Uh,
that?
I think it was San Francisco. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. And I'm like, damn, you're gonna. And there's a lot of them coming in from Tijuana up into SoCal. I'm like, how are you just gonna allow this? Like, I don't
Crazy.
know, dude. It just blows my mind. But anyways, so you went to South Korea for a month, and then what kind of happened, or what other training or stuff did you do after that?
So yeah, I mean, kind of what you were touching on, it's surreal because when you're out there, and you're in the skiff, it's not just you. It's not just the army. It's South Korean naval forces. It's just all of the branches, and then in real time, you're seeing like things transition. So it's just like that. That was like the coolest thing ever. And I really there was like I think he was a bird. He came in and I don't think he knew that we were like I was the only one in the room that was National Guard, and I was like just watching the other guys do their stuff. And then he's like, "Hey, you, how many like give me the number of I think it was like submarines or something like that." And then I was just like, "What, dude?" And there was I know, dude. I was just caught me off guard, And
Were you
I
supposed to
can't
know?
remember his name. No, he didn't know. He thought I was part of. He thought I was part of like Big
Okay.
Army, Eighth Army. I don't think he was tracking that we were there until later
Hmm.
on. But after that, dude, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna get caught with my pants down, So I started like just studying like as much as I could,
Hmm.
just picking up on like capabilities. What was like our commander's intent, and what was like what we were doing like out of the bigger picture. Got an AA out of it. Only one from Deco, just putting it out there.
Hey, man, just better to have one than none,
No, dude, it was cool because I mean everybody got a little like showed up paper like, hey, I showed up too, and I got an AA, so an Army Achievement Medal. So that
Yeah.
was pretty dope. I was pretty dope. It was pretty fun. But yeah, man. So after that, dude, so for the longest time, so in 2018, I moved to Texas from Southern California. So I grew up in Southern California
Oh,
my whole
really?
life. Yeah, dude. So
Dang, dude, I
I grew up
love
in
San
Orange
Diego,
County.
bro.
I got married in San Diego. So probably see it. It's this like nice looking castle, San Diego by the freeway.
Off of Highway 5 or
Dude, you'll know it when you see it.
dang, I don't
If you Google, look at the San Diego Temple. That's what it's called. It's
San
an
Diego
LDS.
Temple?
That's where my wife and
I'm
I
gonna
got
pull it
married.
up
So
right here.
it's a really really beautiful place.
San Diego Temple. Oh, wow, dude. That's legit.
So
Oh, wow, that is nice.
yeah, it's really cool.
I don't know
Um,
if I've ever seen that.
it's like right by the like really good taco place. I'm trying to remember, but I
Oh.
haven't been there a long minute. Yeah, I grew up in California, man, and dude, so I went to Golden West College. Ended up leaving just because of the same things that you're saying, dude. It's been around for forever. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I think it's just gotten progressively worse. My big hiccup was I always felt like it was congested and I just could not breathe, if that makes any sense.
Oh, 100%, dude.
If I like applied for a job, there was always like three other people ahead of me, four other people, and they knew the guy. So I was like never getting the job. And it's like you had to know somebody to get the
Hmm.
job that you wanted. Um, dude, I hate like, oh dude, I need to know this guy to get in. I like merits, right? Like show me good work ethic, effort, good attitude. That's the guy that I want. I like that. That's how I am.
That's how
And
it should be.
dude, yeah. So as I left college, so I graduated Golden West College with my associates. I went to Brigham Young University in Idaho. So it's a small
Hmm.
little town. Oh, sorry, I dropped my headphone. It's a small little town in Rexburg, Idaho. So I went to school there, and then like all college students, I so in Idaho they have a fast track. So financial aid will cover you for 2 semesters, but not three. And I ended up signing up for all 3 semesters. And on my last semester, they were like, "Hey, dude, we already paid you all the financial aid for the 2 semesters, so like you need to pay out of pocket." And so then I was like, dude, I don't have any money, dude. So I need to
Was
do
it a lot?
something,
How much was that tuition out there?
dude. It
Like
was a private school, so but with
thirty-five
housing and
hundred?
everything, like, so I think with everything, with like bills, gas, and everything, I think it was like 5K, a little bit under
Okay,
5K per semester. Not crazy enough, but like, I mean, when you're young, dude, you're like,
it's a
shoot,
lot.
bro,
Hmm.
it's a lot, dude. And
Hmm.
uh, I've never been a big fan of taking out loans. So my roommate was like, "Hey, dude, so the way I pay for school is just I go door to door and sell stuff." He'll do pest control, alarms,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Dude, that's how I pay for my school, man." And I was like, "Dude, BS, because like you have rich parents. I guarantee you have rich parents." But no, dude, he literally how he made his money, he would go out and sell for the summer. So he'd go to like Utah, California, Texas, just random places, sell for like 4 months out of the summer, and then go back to school and just finish his school. And he would have to focus. And he'd make really good money. That way he wouldn't have to have a part
Hmm.
time job. And he's like, dude, if you come out and sell with me, he's like, I will front you the money. Just come out, sell with me. And I was like, dude, this sounds so sketchy,
Dude, sometimes,
dude.
yeah.
But I was desperate, dude. So ended up selling in Utah, and I ended up selling pest control. So I would just go door to door and sell pest control and just say, hey, I'm basically taking care of the bugs out here and trying to get you. I was just signing up people. So I did that for a very long time when I was in school, and believe it or not, paid for most of my bills. In 2018, so I ended up going to this marketing company, and we went to Ohio. My wife and I, we were already married at this point, but we ended up losing money instead of making money. So like, I was in school, I was broke. My wife had to work like multiple jobs, and then we we came across this other company, pest control, and they were like, "Hey, we'll pay you X amount of money. Just come with us to Texas. We'll like, what I mean, we'll hook you up with live, and then you just have to come out for the summer, and you should recover from the last summer that you basically did not make any money." And dude, we came to Texas in 2017, I think it was at the time. We just loved it, dude, and we just stayed here. And then yeah, dude, and then at 25, dude, I think it was 2018. I was 25, and dude, it's kind of weird to explain it, but I was in sales for the longest time. I ended up my senior year and ended up dropping out of BYU Idaho just because I was like, dude, I'm making more money than I would just going to school and being a personal trainer. Um, so yeah, in 2018, the company that I was working with, they pretty much got us in a call, and they were like, hey, we're like laying all you guys off. I was like, dude, this sucks,
Jeez.
dude. And I mean, it was just like, dude, at that moment, I literally had purchased a house. My daughter, who's like now 5, she was just barely newborn out of the hospital. So I'm
Hmm.
like, bro, like,
Gotta do
kind of what we
something.
were talking offline. All that like reality hits you, like, dude, I have a mortgage, I have to take care of my kid. My wife is like, she's been holding it down for so long, and now she has to hold it down more longer. And that's kind of how, like I said earlier, like my big thing is like attitude, effort, and like if you in sales, the reason why I liked it so much was at the end of the day, you show up, you show a good attitude, good effort, you go out there and get your money. You'll always have a job because you're bringing in revenue to that company, and you're like a valuable asset. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
100%.
Um, and then they laid me off. It was like a smack to the face because I was like, dude, I was showing up.
Damn.
Um, yeah, dude. So I was like, the reason why I chose the military or went into the military in 2018 was that exact same thing. In the like, I think most branches across are pretty much the same, but the army, you know what I mean? You show up, you have a good attitude, good effort, you know what I mean? You show up every day and you just work, you're always gonna have a job. You maintain your PT, you have integrity. Like they're not gonna be like, hey, you're getting laid off today. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and at the time, I was like, dude, I needed something secure, concrete, that's gonna make sure that like if something ever happens to me, like my family's taken care of. And most jobs out there, you know what I mean. Something happens to you tomorrow, kind of your family's kind of left hanging, unless you have close family, you know what I mean, good close friends. But for the
Yeah.
most part, they're on their own, and
Mhm.
kind of weird. But lately, like I see it a lot, especially like most of my buddies that I grew up, they have family members that pass away or something like that, and you see the GoFundMe, right? Like GoFundMe on this, GoFundMe on that. They're always left hanging, and that's like my biggest fear with my daughters and my wife is just. And I was like, dude, the military, and especially law enforcement, as well, is the same thing. Is you know what I mean? At the end of the day, something does happen to you, you are gonna get replaced, but like there's a community that like looks out for your family. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Something happens to myself, God forbid, like college is taken care of. Things are taken care of for them, and I don't know. I was looking for something like that, and that's pretty much originally why we like that was the main reason when I was like thinking about it. And we get old, and as you know, like injuries happen, things happen. So,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what like got me into the military. And then Intel, I was thinking it was more of a sales thing. I was thinking like human. You know what I mean? Like a human tour, like speaking and talking, because I love talking to people,
Yeah.
especially in sales. It was always convincing, because like they sell Intel like 35 Fox, like commander's intent, like telling the commander or drawing the picture, right?
Briefs and
Letting the
everything.
command. Right, and then letting them know, hey, this is the first course of action, the second, the third. Like the second one, and then you kind of selling yourself on why that, like, he should pay attention to that. And
Mhm.
so I thought it was like, I was like, cool, like selling like somebody on the image, like shaping the war, right, or the war field. So I really like that. It was like totally opposite.
I was just waiting for you to hopefully say that. I was like, man, it's like bipolar. It's like complete 180 of whatever you're thinking. That's why it's so funny. But your
Yeah.
guys' job
So
looks so much fun. It sounds like so much fun, dude. And um, I'll probably talk more about this like on a different episode, but I'll just kind of like touch a little bit of base. It's like, so when I went through MEPS, and because you went through MEPS in Texas, right? Because that's when you lived there.
right.
Yeah, so I think it's through Texas and like another state, but you get the Hazelwood Act for your kids and your family,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. So
Yep.
thankfully, Texas was very, very good to us too, and so we got the
Yeah.
Hazelwood Act. So I was never really worried about that. But when I went through and I took my test, I was like one of the I don't know, first three, four, five done, and they tell you it's like a 3 hour test or something like that. I'm thinking, Jesus, man, like how many questions are there? And then I'm taking the test. I'm like, okay, this isn't that bad. And then the girl next to me, she was taking the test. She got halfway through, computer crashed, bro. She
Dude.
couldn't
Yeah.
save her work, nothing. Had to get on another computer. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't do this. And so I take the test, and then I'm walking to my car, bro. And not even like 6 minutes after the test is completed, I get a phone call from this like special forces guy, and he was like, "Hey, I saw you just took your test." I'm like, "I literally just took my test." And so, they asked me if I obviously, right, because every job
Mm-hmm.
essentially needs people, but they wanted me to go like CCT, TACP, PJ, anything like special forces. But like how you said, you didn't want to be away from your family for so long. That's why I chose security forces, because I was like, man, I can't be away for 2.5 years in a pipeline with an attrition rate that is the highest across the military. I think like PJ um, attrition rate is I'm probably wrong, but I don't know, but I'm assuming it's like 92%. It's very, very high. And so I'm like, hey, I can't do that. My kid was just born, which is Elias. And he's like, man, I'm not gonna lie,
Right.
the next better option of what you still want to do and kind of run and gun and be gung ho is security forces. And then I'll talk about that on another episode of what happened to me in 2.5 years. But yeah, your guys' job looks very cool, man. I wish I wish I was like into it at that time, 3 years ago. But yeah. So it's a very cool thing, and you guys do a lot of stuff that people don't understand. So like right now, Christina, dude, PowerPoints on top of PowerPoints and info, putting slides together. Then they got ripped apart the other day. She said, from I think I forgot what rank this guy was, but it doesn't matter. He was a very high ranking individual.
Usually it's colonels, man. It's colonels and like 1 stars or 2 stars, depending. That's why when I was in South Korea, I was like, dude, 8. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I didn't even know he was in the room.
Oh, jeez.
So it's like, yeah, man. It's dude, and she's actually doing intel, which is awesome. She's in an area where she can do it. So that also takes a lot. Like if sometimes you're an analyst, and so like if I get activated in Texas, I can't do intel work. I do what like your local law enforcement agency would do. You know what I mean?
So what are you doing now? Like I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it. So if you are, just don't say where you're going. Of course, that's a huge thing, right? I get that. But are you getting activated, or because I know that you said you're going to AT,
Yes.
or is it AT?
This, yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow evening, I'm gonna drive to Lubbock.
Oh,
Dude, yeah,
jeez.
dude, yeah.
So are you getting
So-
sent
so I-
overseas?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk more
Yeah,
offline
dude.
about location wise, but
But
um,
yeah, dude. So that it's gonna be a peacekeeping mission. So again, won't
That's what
be
she's
able to
doing,
do
I think.
intel. No, dude, she's actually
that
able
not
to
it?
actually do. No, she's I mean, here she's at. There's nothing peaceful.
That's true. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
But she's like, there's I guess it's just the dynamic where she's at. But where I'm going, it's like it's literally I'm just doing the weather reports. I look outside, my understanding, and it's just like, hey, it's gonna be 110 degrees again. But there's some other cool stuff that we do. But yeah, man,
Let's go through the AT,
I was also,
because not a lot of people really know about that.
dude, I haven't done an AT in 5 years, man. This is the
5
first.
years?
This is the first AT because we've been in COVID. We've been at the border. I was at the border. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and then what's really cool with most Foxes, usually there's a 2-week training that you can do where you can get a certification within Intel. So the last kind of AT that I had, there was an SF guy who's are they 35 X-ray or 35
Mike.
they're SF, but they're
Okay.
they're
I know there's
they're
a
Intel.
35 Mike, but I don't know about the other one.
I think dude, I don't know, but it was really cool because he's a Green Beret. He's an Intel. He's he's the soft side, and basically we had 2 weeks of just having him and just just knowledge just dropping and what he expect. And one of the cool things was at the end, he kind of like we would have to set up a presentation and just brief him on it, right? And dude, he just like, you know how if you've ever met with like soft guys, dude, they have like no filter whatsoever. They'll like
That's my
have
stuff. I love it.
dude. And but it's funny, dude. I had a
Yeah.
guy there who actually went to the border with me. He again, when you think about Intel analysts, they're usually quiet, very reserved. They're more of the computer. You ask them a computer question, they're gonna make everything look nice and pretty for you. But when you have them up front with like 10 or like even 5 people, they'll choke under pressure, right? Like they'll get quiet. So dude, we had one guy, and I feel really bad. He was like, he just tore him up. He was like, dude, he goes, you need to stop shaking.
So the
And
guy?
he's like, yeah, the soft guy told my buddy, I'm not gonna mention his name,
Sure.
but he was like, dude, you need to stop shaking. And he's like, you need to stop fidgeting your fingers. but it was just pretty funny. And I was like, but it was the way he said it. The delivery was funny, but it was also dickish. But yeah, dude. So and then I was following him, so I was like, dude, please help me, man. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm like, dude, he picked like the smallest little thing. Like I didn't even notice the guy was he was like shaking
Yeah.
and fingers. My big thing, he told me, he was like, dude, you use your hands a lot when you're trying to express stuff. He's like, you need to stop. He wasn't as rough with me, but it was really good because he's like, dude, when it comes down to like actual operations or
Mhm.
a combat zone,
Mhm.
like you need to, the confidence is everything. The way you deliver it, you need to slow down as you speak, and those little things are going to help whether dictate whether the mission moves this way. You know what I mean? And it's really horrible because the commander just thought you're an idiot, or gave the commander like a light bulb moment, and you just shifted the battlefield, and now we're like, you know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
goes,
Hmm.
and he goes, the worst thing you can do is rely and I don't know how it is with big army, but my understanding is usually it's the enlisted give the briefing to the officer, and then the officer kind of ends up telling the other
Yeah.
officers. They were like, hey, if you become that enlisted, that voice where you're just like you know basically the all source expert knowledge, subject matter expert, everything, like you become very valuable. So it was really good insight and just not, like just and he was I think he was a E7, not mistaken. So like it's coming from an enlisted side, and he's like, dude, you just really cool guy, had a lot of swag, um, just dude, best real like AT that I had, and I think I got some certification for being like within an analyst. We have to do certain subjects, I guess, or certain things.
Hmm.
So I got cleared for. You have to renew it every year, so you lose it if you don't use it. So like when I was at the border, I lost it, so I have to
Oh
redo it
wow.
eventually. But it was really cool, and that's really so. This is like my first AT, and then I'm now attached to an infantry unit, so it's really interesting. It's completely different from like Deco, from
Hmm.
Franco's like our unit.
Hmm.
It's just the dynamic is so weird, man.
Yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things too. It's like I see it all the time. I mean, literally. And the one thing about it is like communication is key, of course. And so I can see like where he was trying to come off and try to help, but people sometimes they just don't have like confidence in themselves, and like that's like a huge failure, man. Because you know, I think I was going through boot camp, and my MTI instructor, real cool. He was just like, man, he's like, he would like he would what was it? We had for us it was called the day room. So like when the day was over, um and like people have mail coming in, and everybody's showered and we're about to go to about to lights out, everybody would go into this day room. So it's like this room but ginormous, because we had like 40, 50 dudes. And he would just talk to people. He would just be a normal person, and he wouldn't be Air Force MTI. He would be Tech Sergeant Williams. And he's just like, look, he was like, he was telling everybody, and I know this because I'm the oldest person in boot camp and the oldest person in tech school. So like listening to him tell these younger kids and these younger generations, I'm like, man, this dude gets it. He's been in for a while, and like these kids need to understand, And he was like, don't you ever tell somebody sorry. He was like, sorry gets people killed. He's like, poor communication gets people killed. He's like, if you can't relay information correctly and you don't have confidence, he was like, you're going to get people killed. And he is like instilling that into people to scare
Yeah.
them to like be on top of the game, to not make a mistake, because that stuff is key. And like at work, people just trying to explain things when leadership comes around, dude, this has nothing to do because I'm getting out, but I don't care what rank I am, and I don't care how higher the ranking individual in front of me is. I'm gonna talk to you like a human being. I'm gonna give you respect, and I'm in that position just because of having just life experience, that I'm gonna just come across the board. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna sit there and give you a paragraph of how I got 2 + 2. I'm just gonna tell you, and you're gonna understand it. And it's like I see these younger kids, and they just, like you said, they just kind of fold under pressure in front of leadership. And then when leadership leaves, I go over to them like, hey, like, don't let them like scare you or intimidate just be confident. As long as you know what you're talking about, it should come out very easy and flow. So um that it I totally agree with that. And with him coming out telling him to stop fidgeting his hands and stop shaking and stuff like that, I've seen that before too. I mean, I've seen kids like puppy dog face, but I'm like, oh my gosh, man, please don't do that. But yeah, that's cool though, man. So how long are you gonna
That
be
was legit.
how long are you gonna be gone for?
For this AT or the deployment?
Deployment.
It's gonna be, I believe it's 9 months out of country, and then was it three in country, roughly,
So a
give
year
or
pretty
take.
much.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
12 months,
crazy,
unless
bro.
something pops off, because it is a peacekeeping mission. No, I'm just playing.
Or you guys get pregnant.
Dude, no.
No, yeah,
Is that a way to? That a way?
so I think it's only for the female, bro. So like so hypothetically, being that Christina is still military and that she is on Title 10, if she, if her husband were to say visit her and get said person pregnant, you are allowed to fill out paperwork and leave the military the day the baby's born. So doesn't matter if you have a 4-year contract on or 6 years. I've seen like 2 or 3 of my supervisors, as soon as the baby's born, that was their golden ticket to get out of the military, and they're all out, every single one of them.
Dang.
So
Dude, so you want to know something crazy on that topic? So you asked if I was still in Franco's unit. I am. I was supposed to go on the same mission, but I put in a hardship, and it was valid, dude. So like, if you think about the timeline, I was on COVID for however long that was. Then I went to Korea, and then I was like trying to get my civilian side up because I was like, dude, like, because when you're on orders, that's awesome, right? Your way of life is good. Everything's good. Your
mhm,
insurance is good. The pay is really good, especially in Texas. It's
mhm,
amazing. That's why I love Texas.
mhm,
It's amazing. But the moment you get off orders or the orders end, dude, you go back to being a civilian, and a lot of times they're like, you try to
mhm,
go back into the job, and you're like, maybe the job, like they'll say it's there, but it's like, dude, the pay compared to how like what you were doing on orders,
mhm.
it's like night and day. And so I ended up going. I was trying to get into law enforcement even when I got out of AIT, so our individual training.
Mhm.
But I kept getting like rejected. I don't know. They just didn't like the 5'6" bald guy. Just didn't cut it, dude. Didn't cut it, man. But dude,
Uh,
I would get to like the end, and they would be like, they would go with somebody. I would never make the cut, dude. It's like story of my life. But it is what it is. I ended up getting into Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, and they needed jailers. And I told the guy, and I remember he was like, he was like, he was even wishy-washy with me, and I was like, look, dude, I promise you, like, if you hire me, dude, you'll never ever hear my name ever again. I'm like, dude, I'm a guy that just doesn't take days off. Like, I don't even like holidays or anything like that. Like, dude, I'm never like hungover, dude. I'm like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and you're looking for people that do OT. I will always ask for OT. Like, dude, I was trying to get my foot in the
selling
door.
yourself.
Oh, I was trying, dude. Oh, he ended up yeah, he was sold, dude. He got sold because I was like,
That
dude,
boy.
yeah. So, dude, so I did I became a jailer, corrections officer in Tarrant County. I loved it, dude. It was really good because, um, that's another thing where like you have to de-escalate inmates and stuff like that. You have to know how to conversate. You have to have communication. All those things come into play. So I did that, and then I started getting my reps. And I started getting like like supervisors started like acknowledging me, noticing me. They're like, "Oh, who's this guy, dude?" And
Mhm.
things started going off really good, dude. And then literally, the border kicks off, and um, one of our sergeants is like, "Hey, dude, do you think you'd be able to go like in 3 days to the to Camp Swift and get processed and go to the border?" And I was just like, uh, yeah, I guess so. and then
Damn.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. Like that's what I signed up for.
Of
And like
course.
again, if,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna like I think I told you, if I'm gonna be away from my family, I'm gonna make it count. I'm gonna make it for the next step, right? So I was like, I'm gonna be down there working. Especially, I was crossing my fingers because there was no guarantees at the beginning. Nobody knew if you're gonna do your job or within that realm, or if you're just gonna nobody really knew what they were gonna like what you were going into. And so, but I was like, dude, crossing my fingers. You know what I mean? I go down there, link up with either BP, DPS, something, and make some connections, and hopefully it projects me to my next career advancement, or get me in the foot in the door of something else, right? Doing my kind of work, $35 work. I was like, dude, you know what? Send it, bro. I was like, I'll be ready like in 3 days. You want me ready? I'll be there Saturday. So I was at the border, and dude, I was there for a year and some change, dude. So it was a long time. So and then like
Damn.
whenever I had days off, yeah, dude. So like literally,
It went by
like my
so
wife
quick,
still,
bro. I remember like that, like
dude,
we were talking about it randomly while you were there and stuff, and I didn't know it was that long. That's insane.
dude, no, yeah, it was, yeah. So then I do that, right, and then I applied for DPS because I was just like, dude, there were those there. I think we talked about it earlier. I think like nowadays, most people just don't want to work, man.
No,
Like there is no, they don't want to get after it. Like the incentives are gone to like.
makes me so mad.
That's just the vibe that I get. And so I was at our skiff kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There was supervisors for the highway patrol, and dude, they were just like we were talking about like the recruits that they were getting out. They're like, man, these recruits, they're not built how they used to be built, right? The classic like our academy or our military was harder than what I mean than the last class,
Hmm.
or it's just a new generation, right? Like the whole saying. And the dude, they were just talking, and I was like, hey, like once they were done, I was like, hey, just question, how come you guys are like having horrible retention, or what's the issue? And they're like, well, because they're getting assigned to the border and they don't want to be here, you know what I mean? And they end up, and I was like, dude, how much are they making? And then he's just like, they make X amount of money, and I was like, nice. I was like, do they have to drive like their own vehicle, or and they're like, no, it's all provided by the state. And I'm just like, my
So
brain's just like,
easy.
dude, I know. I'm like, dude, I'm already down here. Might as well. And then I was like, so what are the requirements, dude? And like, obviously, a lot of people that are military are going to meet a lot of those requirements. And then the
Hmm.
background check, right? Which I mean, depending on what side of the military you're
Yeah,
at,
yeah,
you
yeah.
might not. But I was like, dude, awesome. And funny enough, I think I called the recruiter, and the recruiter's like, I'm not down there, but there's another recruiter who's in that area.
Mhm.
She's holding a tryout for National Guardsmen down there. And I was like, cool, can you send me her information? Good.
Oh yeah, you good. I was just
Oh,
yeah.
she sends me the information, dude. And then, bro, I literally hit her up the next day, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of interested. And she's like, awesome, show up on Saturday. I'm supposed to have like 100, or I think she said 100 to 200 National Guardsmen trying out. I was like, dang, that's a lot.
Mm.
I was like, dude, okay. I talked to my sergeant. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do career advancement. Once this all ends, if this ends, or you know what I mean. I'm just trying to set myself up for later because I don't want to, like this ends tomorrow, not have anything. You know what I mean. I did
Yeah.
have Tarrant County, but I was like, dude, I don't know how pay is compared to what we're making down here. So, and he was like cool about it. He was like, yeah, man, go knock it out. We'll cover your shift. Like, go do what you need to do, dude. I show up to the like where they're having their tryouts, and I was like looking around the parking lot, and I was like, dude, did I miss the time hack, dude? And then as I'm looking around the parking lot, there's like nothing, dude. There's like literally nobody. I see two DPS trooper vehicles like parked, and I was just like, damn, I think I'm late, dude. Or
Oh.
I missed it, dude. I go in, and I was like, hey, I'm here for like the trial or whatever. And then she's like, okay, do you have like all the paperwork and stuff like that? Which I did. I already had it like set up. And she's like, okay, just sit down. We're expecting like she ends up saying like 50 more people. And I was like, okay, cool. But I was like, dude, the army, like you need to show like 30 minutes prior if you're gonna go somewhere. You know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
the latest is 10 minutes. I was like, dude, I was like looking at the time, and I was like, dude, I showed up early, right? So it's
Yeah.
like Dude, nobody showed up, dude. I was literally the only one. Yeah, I was literally the only one, dude. And by like the
Wow.
grace of God, dude, I have no idea how I did it, dude. But I passed like they had like a time test. They had to like do a rower. You had to do like a half a mile or something like that. Dude, I ran like no other, dude. I was just. And then the rower, dude, I was just like, but yeah, she gave me the green light, and then she's like, okay, cool. Then you just have to do these other paperworks, and then just start the process.
Mhm.
So the DPS Academy is like 6 months once you
Ooh.
get in. So I ended up being a year at the border, and then the academy you're in Austin for 6 months. So that's like another year and six 6 months, dude. So I'm
Oh
not even
God.
home, dude. It's
Can you leave at
so
that time or no?
you leave in the weekends, but it's like a 12-hour day off. It's
Mm.
2 days, but you have to be back on Sunday night.
Mhm.
But dude, so I do that for 6 months, right? So it's like the border that, and then Deco hits me up, and they're like, "Hey, we're ramping up. Go, you know what I mean, on deployment." And I was like, "Dude," I was like, "Bro, I haven't even been home the last like my last 3 years, dude. I have not been home, dude. Like, dude." And they're like, Sergeant Ball, she's like,
I don't know who
"Dude,
she
just do a
is.
hardship."
Mhm.
She's like, "Do a hardship." You know what I mean? Like, no promises. And dude, so I'm just dude, I tell whoever it is, dude, I was like, "Look, dude," I was like, I'll talk to like the captain, the commander, let them know that like I haven't been home, or else I'm down. Like any day of the year, dude. If you just give me a year, just to, like
I'm
be
say
back
give me
and
6 months or something.
bro, give me some time, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm game, dude. I'm always game. And then so I filled up my hardship, dude. And I was like, hey, these are the reasons why. Like, I'm not trying to like dip out on you, but I haven't been home, dude. Like, I've not been at all. Like, I don't even like like I have a good strong marriage, but I'm like, bro, my wife, dude, she's like my kids, they need to see me, and then so I get so everybody from our company, and I think our brigade and like cleared me off, dude. But it gets to like the top guy on I
Mhm.
think 56 ID, dude. He's just like, no, he's like he's going, dude. He's going, and then I was just like, dude.
They probably
I
just need
think,
bodies, huh? He's like, screw it.
dude. So, dude, so you want to know something crazy, dude? He ends up being a little bit nice. He ends up saying like, "We'll move him to the other mission, which is the one that I'm going on." So I get removed from Deco and moved to a sister. It's the 142nd.
Mhm.
They're out of Lubbock. That's why I'm going to Lubbock.
Mhm.
And dude, just across the state of Texas, like people cannot pass their like med pros, bro. It's really bad. Yeah, I've seen people go to their SRPs where they go and do like their evaluations. They have to go like 2 or 3 different times just to get a go. Dude, it's bad across the board. So like it made sense, and I'm like, so I was like, dude,
Wow.
they just it's not that they need bodies, they just need it's bad across the board, man. And that was like eye opening one, which I'm like, dude, I get it, but it's like it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about like punishment and reward.
Mhm.
We're talking about offline. It's like you're kind of like punishing the guys that are like doing what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, I'm sorry, these guys don't hack it, so we need to take you. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. It's just that's the vibe, and that's like what I've been noticing. But anyway, that's your original question. Yes, I'm still part of Deco,
Mm.
but because I put in my hardship, they removed me from that first mission, and then they moved me to the one that I'm going to
So is
now.
there any time difference at all?
I was able to finish. The other reason why was I told them, hey, in my FTO phase, I don't get paid as much. I need to get off on my probation. I need to get off of FTO and then a year of probation to get back to what I was making if I was at the border. So they allowed me 6 months to basically finish my FTO phase, which I ended up finishing it. But I still have to come back and do that year probation, which is like another thing when I get back. I'm gonna have to figure out how that all works with pay and stuff like that. Because was it the Sierra or the Sarah Act? Basically, if like
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
So anyway, but
Do
yeah,
you
that's like,
what was I gonna ask you just now? Oh man, I just brain farted. How much time do you have left on your contract?
dude. So before the border hit, I
Uh,
reenlisted. So yeah,
for
yeah.
for four, or did you like like try to extend for two, or
Dude, so they were offering a lump sum $20,000 bonus for 6 years.
They got
The
your
boy took it.
ass.
Yeah, dude. It was, dude. This is before, and this the crazy part was we were
Damn.
we literally just got off of everything. So I was like, bro, we're good. I'm coasting, and it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it because I didn't know how much time you had left because you I think might have been able, depending on the time frame, like to skill bridge out. So then you would have been able to get out 6 months earlier than your contract ended.
dude. So I did a three. What's the? So a lot of people don't know this, but the National Guard, you can do like a 3 year contract as opposed to like the normal 4
Yeah.
that they normally do on active duty.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, I did a 3 year, and my contract ended in 2022. So I could have been done, but like again, it was like, you know what I mean?
Did the
It's
wife
that
agree with the
love.
move?
Dude, when she saw the paycheck, she did. When like the lump sum bonus, she
Yeah.
finally agreed. But
Yeah.
but
It's it can be nice, man.
dude,
I think you did it and it happened for a reason, bro.
yeah, we talked about like there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, and I've had this conversation with my wife. Like, I'm going there, and we're gonna like it's gonna. I'm just not gonna be there twiddling my thumbs. Like, I'm gonna do out there, either network or some type of connection. Like, I'm a big proponent of that. Like, don't waste time. You know what I mean? Like, especially
Yeah.
with the military. The military. I've seen my buddies. I've seen some buddies like execute and get the most out of it, and then I've seen the other ones not get the most of it. But it's like all the all the help was there, but they just decided to just kind of like coast. Which I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do the same thing, especially. But for the most part, like the other day, there was our unit was saying they were giving us like information on financial advisors. So my
Mhm.
wife and I we reached out to them and just get that all dialed in. So like proponent of that. So anyway,
Do you guys have like a power of
uh,
attorney too for while you're gone? So you
she's on
might
everything.
so I
So
don't.
she's literally on everything. We've talked to like even I think I've talked to the was it the JAG, like
Mhm.
the
They
just the
should have
National
had you
Guard
guys
guy.
sign. They should have had you guys sign a power of attorney just because, obviously, Christine and I married, and our names are on everything together. But it's the fact of her making a decision for you while you're gone. That's why the power of attorney kicks into play. So, like, I mean, I couldn't even. I don't know. Like, if like it's pretty much like for her to say yes for you while you're not there, and in other places
Yeah.
to legally abide by that, like, hey, here's our power of attorney. My wife is on there, she's got every say for everything related within our names on there. But I mean, like, it just depends. I mean, you guys, like you said, you have a strong marriage, strong relationship, and she's very understanding, very supportive, and that's exactly how Christine and I are. So we've never really had to do that, and then never really been up in the situation to. And right now, dude, with her being gone, and thankfully we're near like friends and family because we're all just holding it down, so that way she tries not to worry about it. So, but
Yeah.
um, what are like some crazy things that you have, if you have, that you have seen like happen at the border, or some really cool things that you have seen that happen at the border? Because if you were there for a year, you had to have seen something.
Dude,
If you could
I should
talk
have sent
about
you
it.
the. I can. So, dude, do you remember the Haitian invasion
Oh
that was
yeah.
like all over Fox?
Oh yeah.
And so, my sergeant and I, we were tasked to go and basically make sure it was like Del Rio, Eagle Pass. We had to hit those areas, and basically, we were tasked to go to the hotels and see if it was livable for soldiers to be in these hotels. Because like in those areas, there's like it's not your Holiday Inn. You know what I mean? It's like Motel 6. And so
Hmm.
like believe it or not, the army still has some standards when it comes to living. So we had to go and basically see if it was decent for them to sleep there, and then basically report it back to I think it was housing, whoever was in charge of housing down there at the border. But anyway, we were down there, and dude, I wish I could send you this video, man. Dude, anyway, it's just you just see a splurs of Haitians, man. It's just like
Jesus.
under bridges, man. You're just like, what the heck, dude? It was wild. Yeah, And then my task down there when I was down there was to help them out. We were at a joik, and I don't know if it's open source or not, but anyway, pretty much craziest thing was one night I was just like chilling, and normally you don't see much. You see people crossing, um, and I'm in a computer, so you see people crossing, and then or you see animals. Crossing is the most common thing, but like this night, dude, there was a dude hauling like a big. I'll show you the picture offline.
Mhm.
It's really dope. It's really dope, dude, because I was really happy. So it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm working the computer, but so are other agencies with us, and it's like you want to be the first one to get that image, if that makes any sense. You want to be the
Mhm.
first one to click the button because it kind of gives like it just gives credit to like the National Guard. It's the easiest way to explain it. But anyway, dude, I was just like on the mouse, bro. Like when they say like Intel is just the like computer, dude, it's
Yeah.
like that's very true, dude. So I was like, this guy. So dude, at first I was like, dude, I am tripping. But I see this guy coming out of the water, and it's images, and he has like a big old bundle of just I don't know if it's like marijuana or what, dude, but it's
Oh,
just
what?
a big old dude, and he's just like he's yeah, it's just wild. And then next thing you know, you see his like compadre behind him, also like hauling load, and I'm just like click, 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 like notify
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Damn. So anyway, that was the craziest thing, like the big bundle. Towards the so at the beginning, I think that was more common. Towards the end of my year, there it wasn't as common. It kind of dried up a little bit. I don't know how it is now. Um, but dude, I swear, man, there was just people crossing like every day in like big groups, man. It was wild. It was wild.
So, what are
Um,
your so what's like the end goal with you being in the army? Are you wanting to, like, now that you signed another 6, you're gonna essentially be 8 away? So are you gonna try to make a career out of it, or are you gonna be able? And another question is, while you are deployed, are you gonna be able to, or are you gonna be put in to do like BLC or something like that, or is it not time, or are you already
so
there?
so I already have my BLC. I just have to go to
Okay.
the school because we have
Okay.
to. I did the first half. It's just slots. The National Guard, it's like slots.
Okay.
The second thing, I shot myself on the foot because I didn't know this, but they sent out recently like if you wanted to promote, they were making people eligible. You would have to basically like, forfeit where you were gonna like be at. So like you'd have to go to Lubbock or
Mm,
Houston in different areas, and you pretty much say, "Hey, I wanna be eligible statewide or just within my unit."
gotcha.
Obviously, if you put within your unit, there's no slots. Like you know what I
Mm.
mean. If there's already an E5 there, there's no slots. I thought it was more of a like, hey, it's like a questionnaire. So I literally just put, I ride with Deco, dude, because I love the 156, man. I love Delta
Mhm.
Company. It's like the first thing that I know of, and it's kind of hard, I guess, to weigh that. So I'm hoping, while I'm overseas, they're all about schools. They're all about sending people for BLCs if they qualify. So I'm hoping to be one of their top 35 Foxes. Hopefully, like they're not on this, so they don't. They're like, oh, dude, now I gotta step up my game. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Because
if you got your ducks in a row, which obviously it sounds like you're that guy that gets noticed too as well. I mean, dude, people will go above and beyond for you. I've seen it happen all the time in the military. Somebody, and I feel bad for some people, but it's I don't know if you guys call them, but we call them shit bags. But it's like if somebody does one thing wrong one time, dude, like I'm talking, you don't hold the door for somebody walking in, and somebody sees that you were on their list, and then it's like now your
yeah,
name comes out, and then they
yeah.
just they just try to give you like the crap end of the stick. So
You know what's funny? We call them shammers, and Franco was actually the
shammers.
first person. Franco was actually the first person to teach me that.
Oh
She's
wow.
like, they're shamming, dude. I know it's because it was like my first day in my unit. That's also really cool. Like, dude, most people like in the unit at the beginning, they're just kind of keep to themselves. So like,
Hmm.
Franco was like actually one of the first people I talked to, and she was like, she said something about they're shamming in their vehicles or something like that, and I was just like, they're shamming in their vehicle. I was like, what
Yeah.
is shamming?
Is
Or,
it
and then
fornicating?
she's, dude, I know I was so confused, and she's like, you've never heard that term before? I was like, no, dude, I was so green, man. It's so funny, but yeah, dude, that's So yeah.
That's wild. So are you going to be able to go to school while you're out there, or do you not need to go to school right now? Or like, are you completely finished with what you're trying to do career wise in the civilian world? And then a
Yes.
follow up question is, obviously with you going, this isn't going to like, when you come back, like your job's going to be like, hey, you got to find another spot. 'Cause that's a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah, dude. No, so that was like my first initial fear because most spots like they always say like, dude, you're good. But the area that I got assigned to, dude, has been like super awesome. I can like leadership there, like my sergeant from the highway patrol,
Mhm.
sergeant, my FTOs, everybody there is like squared away. They love to work. It's like it's just a good environment, and dude, and it's a perfect little spot in Texas where it's like you can get into stuff, you can learn, you can grow, you can be a drug interdictor, you can get into like we have the interstate, so we have like a chunk of that. We have 35W, 35E, and 35, like the big interstate that goes through. So anyway,
Mhm.
um, I'm gonna say yes. I think I'm good on that end, and they've been very supportive in everything, man. Like hitting my timelines, my time hacks. Like essentially, I shouldn't have been off of FTO, but they like make it work where they were like, "Hey, we'll get you through." But yeah, man, it's a good area. I don't think they'll always get people going through that like my area, but I mean that wise, I think it's good. Um, yeah, so to answer your question about the military, right now, and my sergeant from the highway patrol, he's actually encouraged me to do transfer to the air guard. He said, "Hey, think about it," because he's an
Interesting.
air guard. Yeah, well, he was like, "Dude, they don't deploy as much." Not like
I
they don't get
mean,
activated as much
I
on the
don't know if
state side.
that's well,
On the
okay.
state side. But I mean, he's awesome. He's all about just like getting maximizing because he said the same thing. You're in your halfway mark, so like are you just gonna like waste the other 10, or are you just gonna like down the line when you're like 70, 80, you're just gonna be like, dang, that little paycheck would have been nice, right?
Mhm.
Um, dude, honestly, right now I'm more about originally the National Guard was a way to get myself in the door with something else,
Mhm.
and whether it would be an intel or law enforcement, and my biggest thing was law enforcement. But with the highway patrol, man, I really love it, dude. It's you pretty much work your own schedule. You just you're allowed to do what you need to do, like handle business. You can patrol, you can visit schools, um, you can interdict, you can help other agencies around the area. Like dude, there's you don't have somebody micromanaging you. You're literally your own boss, and you're doing law enforcement work. You're like, you know what I mean? So if you like,
Yeah, that's
you
awesome.
know, yeah, dude, it's really awesome, and I think I right now I understand. Like I feel like I'm home, and like when something feels right, and the highway patrol feels right. They're all about integrity. They're all about conviction, just like core values, like showing up to work. You know, like
Mhm.
show work like effort, attitude. You know what I mean? And you'll be rewarded. That's how the military's always been, and I love that about the highway patrol. And also, what I love the National Guard was, when border like you're always around your community. Like when I was at the border, it wasn't like I was wasting time. I was literally helping locals, and I felt like I was doing something to stop fentanyl. Same thing with COVID when everybody was afraid of it, dude. I was like, dude, send me, dude, I'll go. Like I didn't hesitate once. I literally picked up my phone, and I remember telling the sergeant, I was like, hey, dude, whenever y'all get the call, dude, I'm down. Like you don't have to like. I'm not scared. You know what I mean? This is what I signed up to help.
Good for you, dude.
Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, man. So I do enjoy that. I do enjoy like um, what's it called? Um, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's like the famous quote, right? Like when you see chaos, like look for the helpers.
Mm,
That's my big thing, man. Like
it's a good one.
I just yeah, man. And the National Guard and the Highway Patrol kind of share that same thing. Like they literally share something pops off. They go and help that area of the state. So I really enjoy that aspect of it, and I think it's a good way to slowly move away from the National Guard. So as of now, I think slowly transitioning. So I think my contract ends in 2027 as of now. Yeah.
It seems like so
Because
far
I
away.
really, dude, it's not, dude. It goes by fast, bro. Trust me,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
Dude, my
Um,
first contract was like
hmm,
this, man.
that's
It
true.
like
Yeah.
literally, I felt like I didn't do anything, dude, on my first contract. So then, yeah, the Army got the last laugh. Uncle Sam always gets his, man.
Yeah, man. It's like Christina told me, she's she told me like quite a while ago. She said, any chance you get to have like a day off or to spend time with your family, she was like, do whatever you have to do because she said the Army will take your time. And she's like, military, Air Force, doesn't matter what branch. She was like, it's gonna take your time. And she's, because you're on call 24/7, essentially. Like that's your job. Whether today is my off day, I am still working. If they call me and they're like, hey, you need to come in. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. When do I need to be there? And
Yeah.
so so what do you like most about being a 35 Fox? And then what do you dislike about being a 35 Fox, if there is a dislike?
Dude, I'll start with the dislike because that's usually the easiest
Okay.
one.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Dude, what I like more about like the intel side is just we talked about how how you were talking to, or your drill sergeant was talking to all the other soldiers, and they were like, "Hey,
Hmm.
you like talk to them like people." You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's my biggest thing that I've seen. That most foxes, like, you have to be comfortable speaking to a 1 star. When I joined the National Guard and I started realizing they're just people. You know what I mean? They're no different than me. I have to communicate and talk to them the way that I would talk to you, my wife. You know what I mean? Obviously in a respectful manner, but I have, like, just the communication. I love that aspect that basically rank sort of goes away, and it's like the one spot where you don't have to be a soft guy, or you don't have to
Sure.
be in any where you can literally tell, like, the 1 star, like, hey dude, great idea, but right. So that's the
Yep.
one aspect that I do like about it, and it's taught me to basically see people as people, nothing special. And it's not like you shouldn't give people like the respect that they like. Everybody should have the respect. I mean, they're just at the end of the day, they're people too. They'll make mistakes, and just remembering that, I love that aspect about it, and it's helped me, and especially in the highway patrol. Just, I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of A personalities in as a state troopers, a lot of like A personalities everywhere, and so like, oh, the old me would have to be like, oh, okay, you know what I mean, but the new me is like, nah, dude, we're the exact same.
There
You
you
know what I
go.
mean? You're gonna do it your way, I'm gonna do it my way. So I like that aspect about it, of the 35 Fox series. I guess the one thing that I don't like is, and this is more of a as a in stateside, is that we don't really get to do like intel work unless we're outside of the U.S. You know what I mean? So prior to COVID, and even like, I haven't really done a lot of my actual, my job.
Hmm.
I've done a lot of cool stuff at the border, but it's still not my job. If that makes any sense. Um, that'd be the one thing that I dislike, which I understand. You know what I mean? There's all these laws, but that'd be the only downside. But I mean, it's not really a con, I would say, because
That I would consider a con because I mean that's your job, man. Like you signed the
yeah,
line for it. That's your MOS, and it's funny you say that because that is Christina's number one thing that she hates about it is that she's like, we just waste so much time and we just sit here and we don't get to do our job. She's like, it's so stupid. And I'm like, damn, I was like, that really does suck. But now she's in the
hmm
position where she is going to be doing that. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she was, if her husband at the time, myself, like got her pregnant, but she missed out on the South Korea trip. and I
I think
felt
she was
bad.
pregnant at that time.
Yeah, and I felt bad. I'm like, dang, but I was like, but it was only like a few weeks. I'm like, eh. And then this deployment popped up, and she was getting ready to get out, and then and she was gonna. So someone told her that she can extend up until the last day of being on a deployment. So she's like, okay, cool, I'll just do that. Wrong. She gets there. The lady was like, you can't do it for a year. We don't do those anymore. And she was like, you can't do it for 15 months. She's like, you have to do it for 2 years. And I was like, damn. But she got a sign on bonus. So she's like, well, I'm just going to do this deployment. and then I'm in the guard anyways. And she's like, then by the time I get back, it won't be very long, and then I'm just gonna get out. And I was like, yeah, do the 2 years, might as well get the bonus. And if you happen to, get pregnant again, then you're out sooner. So,
Yeah, dude.
but
But I
yeah,
think once she finishes that deployment, she doesn't even need to drill. I don't even think
I
she
don't
has to
think
show up
so.
for the last year. So she just
Yeah,
pretty much be doing her paperwork. So she's pretty much set.
yeah.
That's weird that they don't even do 2 years no more.
No,
Did
it
she
is. It
lie?
was only a two. That's all. They don't do it 1 year. She was gonna do it 1 year, and then they
Oh,
said we can't do that. She's like, okay, well, I'll just do 15. It was like I'm probably wrong, probably like 18 months, and that's like all
yeah.
she needed. And they were just like, hey, you can't, like, you have to do 2 years. And then the lady was like, if you're gonna do 18 months with no bonus,
Yeah.
she's like, why not do the extra 6 months and get the bonus? I'm like, oh, no brainer, get the bonus.
Sold.
And she already got it. I mean, it's like 2 months into it, she already got it, so it's awesome.
Was it a lump sum? Lump sums are
Uh,
always good.
yeah, it was all together. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah, that's
I checked the bank account one morning, and I was like, I was like, hold on a second, and then, so I texted her. I'm
like,
like,
dude, where's this money coming from?
yeah. I said, dang, but being out here, in California, the BAH is a whole lot higher than Texas. So,
What? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
just
Zip code.
just the loan. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the math real quick because so let's see, my rank and then her rank. So just the loan in BAH, it's backwards. 60, almost 6,400, bro. Just in
Dang, that's not even
BAH.
close. That is wild.
Yeah, dude. So and the thing is this house that we got. So let's just hypothetically, I don't know if I want to tell everybody all my numbers, but let's just take that minus the housing allowance. So this house, we got it off of the website called ahrn.com. So if anybody out there
Okay.
is military and you're looking to rent or buy a home, this is not me promote like a sponsor by any means. This is like legitimately, it has helped us twice when I got stationed in New Mexico, and then here. You go on there and dude, this home is 3,000 square feet. It is 5 beds,
Dang.
3 full baths, 3 car garage. It is in the hills, and like these homes are like $1 million homes. Dude, this guy is the nicest landlord that I've ever seen. Him and his wife straight up told us, we don't want to make money. So they're just like, we just want to pay like the mortgage for the home. The house is already paid for. They just want to pay the property taxes. So
Right.
he was like,
Yeah.
$2,500 a month. I said, lock me in, done deal. And I was like, $2,500 in Northern California in the hills, 3,000 square foot home. I mean, we have the gym out there,
Dude, that's
ginormous home, bro.
awesome.
Dude is crazy. And the guy, what is it? On the way out here, or before we moved out here, we're trying to find a home, and I ended up going to that website. It was like 4 or 6 o'clock at night, and Christina was in the kitchen doing the typical, making dinner. So, so I was like on the laptop. I was like, man, I need to check this real quick because I'm like, what if something popped up? So she sat next to me and we looked at it, and this is the first home that popped up on the list. I'm like, there's no way that the size of this home is this price in Northern California. I called the guy. He picked up instantly. He said, give me 2 hours. I'll be at the house. I'll FaceTime you guys. He called us 2 hours on the dot. FaceTimed us, showed us everywhere, sent us paperwork, got the home instantly, bro. Got the
That
home
is
instantly.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That is
So
awesome.
a super nice guy. And this is crazy to me. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not trying to ramble on here because it's not my episode, but bro, he pays for the pest control. He pays for the landscaping. We don't do any of that. Like today, the guy, his name is Sergio, super nice landscaper, and he comes out whenever I text him. I'm like, hey, front yard's getting a little hairy, backyard's got leaves everywhere. He texts the landlord. The landlord tells him, cool, go out. And he comes out and he is like, dude, he's crisp when he's doing the landscape and stuff, bro. And we don't
Bro,
pay
that
for
is
any of that.
awesome.
Don't pay for any of it.
That's
It's so
awesome.
nice, bro. I'm like, dude, this is like the best experience ever. But I just hate the gun laws here, bro. It's like the biggest pet peeve of mine because in California, if you don't have a concealed carry, you have to, your weapon has to be separate from your magazine, and none of it can be loaded, and it
Have
has
to
to,
like
Yeah, bro. And then it obviously has to be in a case, concealed, and then like in your back seat, under your back seat, or in the trunk. And I'm like, damn. So you're telling me somebody runs up on me and tries to rob me at gunpoint in my car? I gotta be like, hold up, wait a minute, and then let me put my shit together, and then like that makes no sense, bro. So I don't like it, but her family and friends are here. Um, Fantastic weather, food is good. The beach is an hour away.
Dude,
Snow
yeah,
is not
that's
very
the one thing I
far.
do miss.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
a
it's
combination of all the food of different areas and freaking
yeah.
combination, man. I miss that, dude. I do. I
Yeah.
miss that. Not gonna lie. But the gun
Oh,
laws, yeah, they're not that great.
dude. Oh my gosh, I hate it, bro. That
My brother,
Florida.
he told
Go ahead.
me
Go ahead. Go ahead.
my brother has an AR. And he
Mhm.
told me he has to put like a special. He had to go and put a special thing on it. Basically, guess it doesn't allow him to load up the mag normally. You have to
What?
basically, you have to break his
Out
rifle.
here?
Apparently, that's a yeah. And then I was like, dude, because if you go to a shooting range, I guess it's like, if I don't know, dude. I was trying to look it
I
up.
don't doubt it, bro. I really don't. Like, there are
So I
so
was
many
like,
things that are
dude,
illegal here.
yeah, dude, everything. You even drinking right now at this time of the hour is
What are you
illegal.
talking about,
You
dude? Like,
know.
I don't know what this is. No, yeah, it's Oh, another thing, completely off subject. You have to get a freaking permit, bro, to have a yard sale.
Dang. Is that an HOA thing or is that just a
No, that's a
city? It's a
California
city.
state law, bro. Like if you are doing a yard sale and you're selling, I think it's like a certain amount, up to a certain amount of money, and you're making money off of it, you have to get a permit to be able to
Dang,
have a yard sale up here. And
that's wild.
yeah, dude, it's everything is so silly. It doesn't make any sense, man. It's like, why does anybody want to live here? But everyone wants to live here because of location.
True, true. Are you gonna
Um,
move back to Texas? What's your
oh, that's a good question, bro. So a lot of people don't really.
what's your top three? Your top
Yeah,
three.
top three. So our number one is Italy. I've already talked to
Mm,
the Italian consulate out here in San Francisco to get
okay.
visas for the whole family because I didn't know, but there are 6 different type of visas, and one of the
The
visas
red and blue.
no, dude, it's what is it? I would have to pull it up, but there are 6 different kinds, and one of them that I fall under is for being like retired, right? So, being that I'm retired, but I still get monthly income, I'm still
Mm,
considered, if you want to say, an asset because I can still contribute to society with paycheck and paying rent and food and all that stuff. And then there's another one that you can get a visa to where you specifically can't work. And
cool.
there's a bunch of different ones, but Italy is our number one. Specifically Amalfi Coast, which is southern Italy. Believe it or not, I've done a ton of research, and Italy is 41% cheaper to live than it is here. 41%, which is a lot. And you can get a home on the coast, down there, freaking beach view, gorgeous, 180 to 300,000 house on the beach. And
That's wild.
yeah, so we want to go there. Second choice, great question. Second choice would probably maybe Florida, and then
Wow.
third choice probably stay here.
Dang, dude. Texas didn't even make the list, man.
No, man. So a lot of people don't like. Some people kind of give me flack for it, bro. But I love Texas in the sense of like real estate, no
Oh,
state tax, the gun laws make sense. It is cheaper to live than most places. But man, when I left and went to Albuquerque, I definitely miss Texas and I hate New Mexico. I don't care what anybody says. That is my opinion. I'm going to stay to it. That shouldn't even be a freaking state, bro. It is. I don't like it. I do not like it. If anybody ever gets stationed out there, I'm sorry. Try to find a humanitarian leave or something. But I don't like it. But then when I came to California, um, and like living here for this time frame, I'm like, man, I do not want to go back to Texas because I've lived all over DFW, Dallas, Las Colinas, which is our favorite, super nice out there. Excuse me. Fort Worth. I love Fort Worth. But I don't know, man. It's just like I did it for 10, 11 years and I was like, God, I'm like over it. And then coming out here, it's just so nice, bro. I mean, seriously, like an hour to the beach, 90 minutes no
Yeah.
traffic to Tahoe for the snow, and then a few hours to like amazing like redwood forest, like historic national parks.
Right.
And then 5 hours from like the sand dunes, if people want to go out there and freaking rip around. But yeah, I think Italy we're going to try to go to, but I think realistically, because her brother he's gonna have his first kid in October, November, and so she kind of
Mhm.
wants like all our kids to grow up and just kind of hang out. And she was away from her family for 15 years, and being able to come back now, I don't think she wants to leave. But she said, we talked yesterday that if we do move, she's like, I want to do it big. And so I'm like, hey, I totally get it. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so you guys are
Makes
staying
sense,
in
dude.
Texas. That's the
Dude,
yeah,
I'm Texas sold, man. Like I love
planted.
Texas, dude.
Yeah.
I'm planted, dude. Dude, yeah, man. Yeah. People ask me to go back to California. I don't think I've been there since 2016 when I got married, man. And yeah. I feel like the exact same way you
Mm.
feel about Texas right now. It's the
Yeah,
same way.
yeah, yeah. And now
Dude,
I told her, I said, if we decided to stay in California and like we can like retire and pick a location to go, I told her I was like 100% going to San Diego because that is my jam out there, dude. San Diego, Coronado Island, Gaslamp Quarters, Mission Beach, like dude, like SoCal over there, like man, like that's like it is such a good vibe. Anytime in the year that I visit, there's people running, biking, skateboarding, like people are
dude,
doing like fit activities. The food is freaking delicious, the drinks are great, and I've never had a bad experience. And people are nice. I love San Diego, bro. San Diego or like Orlando, maybe Tampa. Like I would consider those places.
nice. Yeah.
Um,
It was good,
well,
man. They got
yeah,
amazing
no,
food, you know.
yeah, dude, it's great. So I mean, kind of really covered a little bit of everything, and then yeah. So when do you go to your training right now? When's your training?
For my annual,
Yeah, yep,
it starts on Monday. I have to drive to Lubbock
and
that
that's
evening.
2 weeks.
I think it's like 2 weeks. Yeah,
And
it's
then
like
do you
about
have
two
a
weeks.
break after that before you actually
Yeah, so I
go
have a week. I have a week, and then I'm on active orders, and
sent
yeah,
out? Damn,
yeah, dude, I know.
that's
Ugh.
real, bro.
Dude, I've been waiting for like the last minute to like have everything put together.
Mm.
So, like close my OCPs. I'm like, dude, I'll get that. I'll take care of that later.
Yeah, yeah. Well, um, I had fun on this podcast, bro. I thought it was cool and to catch up with you. It's been a
Yeah,
while, and to kind of
yeah.
get your experience from like why you joined the military, your family, your career now, why you chose to be a 35 Fox and some things that you have done being guard and then getting transitioned onto some orders, going down to the border, and then like where you're going to be going now, which we'll talk offline. Sorry, people. So kind of figure out how that's going to go and what you're going to do. Cause I always like knowing where everyone's going to go. It's just interesting. And, I was supposed to get deployed last year. They called me,
Hmm.
and it was our. Do you guys have like UDMs? Is that what you guys call them? Like a unit deployment
Oh,
manager?
yellow ribbon. We. Oh wait, no.
You go okay. What do you guys call? Who's the person that calls y'all to tell you like, hey, you're getting deployed? Can you take this?
Readiness NCO.
Okay, all right. Well, then that works.
No, I mean, I feel like ours is Sergeant Ball, so she wears a lot
Okay,
of hats.
yeah, she does.
She
That's what
she like
Christina
she
tells
handles
me.
our like she handles like our pay to like I'm like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so we have UDMs, which is a unit deployment manager, and then we
Mm.
have UTMs, which is a unit training manager. But my UDM calls me, and he was like, "Bert," he was like, "Can you take a short notice deployment?" And I just kind of chuckled. I was like, "How short?" He's like, "Well, today's Thursday. I need you to be ready, and you're leaving Tuesday." I said, "Oh," I was like, "Give me." I literally told him, I said, "Give me 20 minutes. Let me be respectful and let me call my wife." And he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, "No worries. Call me back." Cool. Call Christina. 7-minute phone call. She's like, "Take it." Said, "Cool." I was like, "All right, babe." I go to call him back. 15 minutes later, call him back. And I was like, hey, the wife said yes. He said, all right, Burke. He's like, man, he's like, I'm not gonna lie. He's like, I appreciate your integrity. He was like, your name is always your name's always coming up, and people love you. He's like, but we pulled your deployment. And I was like, what happened in the 15 minutes? Like, I literally told him, I was like, what happened? He's like, well, you guys, just PCS'd here, and it was on EFMP, which is Exceptional Family Member Program, which we moved here because of Casey, and the altitude where we were at was 5,300, and so he was on oxygen supply. So they moved us to Travis. They literally told me, pick anywhere in the world you want to go. He said, but they just have to have medical care for your family. I said, too easy. Let's go Travis. And then they sent us to Travis. So he was like, because you guys got here and you guys are on I had some type of I was tagged with some code, like code 52 or something like that. And so I got my deployment pulled within 15 minutes, bro. So I never got that chance to go, and I've always wanted to experience it. So I just try to live vicariously through people that I know, because I totally understand it and I get it. And I mean, I was so close, but like we said earlier, everything happens for a reason. I wasn't meant to go on it, and it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and complain. The younger me would be like, dude, what the f, like what the this is BS, and I would just work myself up for no reason. But I'm not gonna lie, ever since I met Christina, she has calmed me down a lot. She's like, look, it's already been done, you can't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that's a good point. And she gave me this analogy that I tell everybody. She said, imagine you're driving your car and you get a flat tire. She's like, you have a flat tire, just fix it. What is it going to do? Complaining and yelling and moaning about it. I'm like, and I just looked at it and I said, damn. It's like, way to just humble somebody real quick about that, because she's right. What you yelling isn't going to fix your tire. So, but yeah, so that is what it is. So, but again, man, I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna stay in touch. This is it's gonna be interesting, and then hopefully kind of maybe chat with you one more time before you go, but obviously spend time with your family, and just we'll stay in touch. So yeah, so for everybody out there, episode 13 with Rene Alvarado, 35 Fox in the Army, getting ready to go do some big things. He signed that contract, so he's gonna go on this year-long deployment essentially. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Then the other one will be very interesting as well. And I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you.